Hey friends, welcome back. My name is Rebecca. If you have been following along my journey at all, you know that we started over with our garden. It was an absolute disaster when we moved in, and since then we've been doing our best to make it an actual garden and make it someplace that we can grow our own food. So we have been working our tails off this weekend. And I have an update for you guys. So my husband he didn't order it, he rented a big machine, and we have done a complete overhaul of the garden, which is going to allow us so much more space next year to plant a huge crop of food. I'm so excited. We were not utilizing the space well at all, basically because there was just too much crap in the way, basically. So he rented the machine, and we've been working all weekend to take down trees, clear out stumps, make room for a place for us to grow food next year. And I'm so excited. So I'm going to turn you around and show you the work that we've done. We're not done yet. It's still a huge mess. Our whole yard is torn up. It's gonna need a lot of work. The machine tore up the yard, but we've been taking out stumps, and I took out a garden. We've just been doing a lot of work. So I'm gonna turn you around. Before I turn you around, I wanted to show you some of the work we did earlier. So this was a flower bed that we removed, and it had a tree stump in the middle of it. So we got rid of that. I have so many flower beds. I didn't need that one. This is a part of another flower bed that we removed another stump from. There it is there. So that was pretty dead, came out really easy. This is a view of the outside of the garden where the cherry and quince trees were. You can see this was earlier in the day. There's still a ton of debris that we have yet to get rid of, and part of the fence was still up there. Tons of tree branches that I took care of today. There were two huge piles that I ended up getting rid of. I cut them into smaller pieces, and I just ended up burning them. So this pile here, I removed all of that today. That was twice the size than it is right there because I worked on a lot of that yesterday as well. Those two piles under the tree are still unfortunately there. I have to take care of those still. But I was able to get this pile all cleaned up and burned, taken care of. And then back here behind the trailer is just where we have the rest of the stumps for now. So we did remove those two trees, and then the two stumps I already showed you, and then there was another stump that we also removed that was in the yard. So we got rid of a ton of stuff that we now just don't have to mow around or worry about being in a flower bed. So that big stump right there was the cherry tree. Our yard got decimated. It's going to need a ton of work. This is back where the granite pile used to be. We actually ended up moving that entire pile today back to where we put the stumps behind the trailer, just to get it out of the way for now because it was just too much in the way. So this is the back side of the shed. This is before my husband was able to level the ground a bit more and remove some more debris. So I did let him remove one of the rows of Sharon bushes because there are so many stumps, or not stumps, so many roots from the Japanese knotweed that we are trying to get rid of. So I did let him remove that to get rid of some of the roots. So this is him working in the back of the garden. There were a ton of just like really small trees that look like they planted themselves that we got rid of. We got rid of a ton of those today. Just a ton of brush and debris, as you can see. This is the back corner of the garden where most of the brush came from. And then this other side over here, unfortunately, is just where most of the fence is sitting right now. Until we can get some more cleanup done and figure out what we're gonna do, how we're gonna get rid of all of that, that's where it's staying for now. This is where a lot of the brush came from. again, this fence came down as well today. That was one of the last pieces of fence that came down. We figured there's no point in keeping it up because we are going to re-fence the whole garden next spring. More brush removal. This was there was a huge overgrown, mostly dead rose bush back there. I mean, like, it was ginormous. I have never seen anything so big. So that took a lot of cleanup today to get all of that out of there, plus all of the grapevines that were back there as well. This is just some of the roots that we pulled out. There's still a huge pile of dirt back behind the shed, and it's got granite back there, and just tons and tons of roots from the knotweed that we need to get rid of before it plants itself again. So that's a project. And then this is just a quick look at the progress so far. And show you, there's a tiny bit left of my garden. This is basically it, and some carrots over there. I did pull 1 container of carrots today, and they were really small, but I gave them to my aunt who stopped by. So this is what's left of the original garden, just this tiny patch right here. So over here, on the side right here, there used to be 2 trees. There was a quince tree here, and then there was a cherry tree, and I am hoping to plant a couple of apple trees back here. The cherries we never got to because the birds and the critters would eat them all first, and the quince tree was great but not very practical for our family. I would get much better use out of an apple tree. We do still have the pear tree that's over there, and we did keep our grapevines, so we have those as well. So all along here was the trees, and then coming back here, all in this back garden was totally unusable. So we pulled out, well, obviously we pulled out the fence. The fence is completely gone, and since harvest season is just about over, it's fine. So all back here were a ton of rows of Sharon that had been, I don't know if they were planted or if a lot of them just grew and seeded themselves. We still obviously have a ton of work to do. This is where we left like the mangled fence, because it's just gonna have to be a project for another several days. So this is this whole back area here was covered in trees and grapevines that had like gone wild and just were growing everywhere. They weren't producing any fruit, they were just growing and causing havoc and making a big mess. So all back here, I'm going to be able to utilize all of this space, which I was not able to do before because there was just too much brush. There was nothing I could do. There's a couple of huge railroad ties back here that we dug up, so we're going to figure out what we're going to do with those. And then all of this space back here, so there was a fence all along here, and there was a ton of brush. Now I know there's still a ton of brush right now, but this is nothing compared to what it looked like before. So I'm going to be able to utilize all of this space. I think I'm going to put some berries back here next year, I'm not sure. Like probably some raspberry bushes. So now I have all of this open space right here to completely utilize. So we took down the fence. So all up here is where, so this is the back of our shed. So on the back here were kayak racks. So we're going to eventually put those back up. We had to take them down to do all of the work back here. So all of this is still Japanese knotweed that we are trying to get rid of. I know it's going to take several years. And then over here we have the creek as well. So because of the erosion of the creek bank, that's why the previous owner originally put the Japanese knotweed here, but it's very invasive, very hard to get rid of. So we cleared this whole area. We'll put the kayaks back, and then with all of the granite that we have, which there's some pieces there, there's some pieces over there, and then we moved the rest of it today just to get it out of the way. So with this space right here, we will be
leveling this and putting down granite just to have a nice space underneath where our kayaks will be. And then I'm going to move you over and show you where all the kayaks went, or not the kayaks. I'm going to show you where all of the granite is that we moved. So we're still burning, we've been burning a lot of the brush. There's still a ton left. This is a stack of smaller, like rotten railroad ties. Just, there's debris everywhere. It's been a mess. It's going to remain a mess for a while. So we had to move our wood pile over here. We actually had the kids do that last week so we could, because it was in front of the fence. So this is part of the trees that we pulled out. And then all under this huge tree, we still have a ton of brush and debris and huge parts of tree. This is the cherry tree over here. And then you can see our yard is destroyed. It's gonna need some work. This is where we have moved our giant stack of granite that we don't know exactly what we're gonna do with all of it, but and then this is all of the rest of the stumps that we pulled out right here. So that was actually, that's the cherry tree right there. So you can see the roots. If we didn't have that machine that my husband rented, there's no way we would have been able to get all of this work done. We got so much done this weekend and made so much progress, but we still have so much more to go. So that was just a real quick update to show you all of the progress that we have made this weekend. We still have so much more work to do. I'm exhausted thinking about it. I was not mentally prepared yesterday for all of the work that we were going to have to do. I thought maybe we were just taking out a few trees and that would be it, but it was way more involved than that. But I'm not afraid of hard work, and it's really gratifying to be able to do all of this work so that we can plant a garden and grow food for our family and rely on ourselves as a food source. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to more updates to give you guys, and then stay tuned for a video I have coming up on the things that I've learned as a first-year gardener. Boy, did I learn a lot, and there's so many things that I'm going to do different next year. Thank you for joining me for this quick update. I'm really looking forward to showing you the work that we are going to continue to do, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.